This is a quick video on comparing the Nissan S14 shifter. I guess this is uh, the ball cover that goes at the tip of the shifter into the transmission. On the left side, we have Cusco's part. On the right side, we have GKTech's part. So when I got the Cusco one, I definitely felt like there was a little bit more play. Actually, more play than stock. I guess maybe the Delrin or plastic or whatever that is, the piece was not really worn out too much. But still, I thought I could make some improvements. So I bought the Cusco one, and there's like a little bit of play. So I was browsing around, found out about GKTech. Of course, they make not exhaust, like suspension parts is what I know them for. But they had these other small parts, and like this is one of them. So here's their, it's called a shift collar. Their shift collar, and you can tell definitely it's a lot. Check out the ridges on the top where it angles in, like right. Now it's kind of hard to see because it's a real small part, but where it angles in, it's a lot smaller on the inside and sharper when it cuts in. So I think this is going to fit a lot more tightly on the shifter. So let's give that a try and see what we got. Alright, so we got the GKTech shift collar installed now. Just some quick installation notes and impressions. First, in the video on their website, I think they show the person using like a press to install the collar onto the end of the shifter. I didn't need to do that, luckily. All I had to do was basically press down hard with my palm on the ground, and it popped right in pretty easily. Maybe because my the metal part on my shifter is worn from being really old, so it didn't really have as much the clearances weren't as tight and I didn't need a press. Or maybe I was just lucky, or maybe they changed the design a little bit or something. But anyways, that part was really easy. But if you're like me, you'll have kind of this weird issue when you're actually installing the shifter into the transmission. So normally you just basically lower it in and it goes into place, just pops right in really easily. But in my case, it did not pop right in easily. And what I had to do is, and you might have to do this too, put the shift knob on, twist it, get some rotations in there, or tighten it a little bit. I just did it maybe like 5 rotations, and then you get a dead blow hammer, and you might have to hammer it down so that it pops into the transmission. So now it's on the transmission really snug. I actually wonder how it's going to be like when I eventually take it out of the transmission to do servicing or whatever it happens to be in the future. But I guess we'll deal with that when we get there. So that's just it for insulation. A little bit harder to install, but I guess the tolerances are a lot tighter versus the Cusco piece. So the Cusco one was easier to install, but this one, it's definitely got a lot less play. So this right here, this is less than the Cusco one. And thing is that there's actually a lot more pieces to the shifter than just the collar. So it's entirely possible. There's probably other stuff in here that's a little bit worn out. I mean, I've got a new wave washer installed in there, but there's a lot of plastic pieces and those things wear out over time. So probably if I replace some of those plastic pieces, then there would be even less play. But for now, this is actually very nice. This feel, I kind of need to compare this with stock. And then also I've driven my car almost 420,000 miles. So there's going to be, I can only compare it to what it was before, and it feels a lot nicer than before. Compared to a car that has maybe like 100, maybe it's more realistic, like a S14 or S13, closer to 200,000 miles. I don't know how it compares to that. So, but in any case, if you're looking for a shift collar, you want to improve your shifter feel on your 240, definitely go for the GKTech one. No knocking on Cusco. They make a lot of good parts, and I have friends that run some of their suspension parts. But particularly with the shift collar, the GKTech one is really good. A little bit harder to install, but the result is a lot nicer. It's really good. And plus they also have a USA office if you're from the US like me. So less waiting. You don't have to get it shipped all the way from Australia. And the price is, I forgot what it was. I bought a bunch of stuff at the same time, but it was definitely one of those things where it's like, oh, it's there, let's just toss it into the shopping cart. It was really cheap.
So it might be like less than $10 or close to $10 or something like that. Anyways, definitely think it's worth it. This is going to be a lot of fun in the future, and yeah, get one for yourself. It's good stuff.